Hi everyone, welcome to the 16th Annual Diversity Day with Empower Montana. And yeah, give a round of applause for yourselves for being here. Thanks. And I'll share some vulnerable modeled adult leadership because we have amazing youth up here. And I gotta say, we're all a little nervous. And so thank you so much for showing up. And your presence here is the first step. Our theme this year is creative resistance. So you may have started to engage with some of the activities, but you'll get to know more what that means through this event and hopefully be inspired by it. So my name is Jess Moniz Hernandez. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Director of Youth Engagement with Empower Montana. And I want to say that in my role, I'm passionate about uplifting youth leadership as they are the closest to understanding the challenges and knowing the solutions of our future. Yeah. And in a world that often attempts to silence diverse voices, creative resistance emerges as our most powerful tool for change. Through artistic expression, innovative thinking, and bold imagination, young people aren't just challenging barriers, they're dismantling them and building something beautiful in their place. So our organization is hosting tonight. We focus on creating a more just and inclusive society through developing youth and adult leaders to build allies across group lines and strengthen communities across the state of Montana. We offer a variety of healing-centered, youth-led work that looks like our community clubs, which are EPIC, Youth Forward, BU Crew, and Abby. And I won't go too much into them as you'll hear more about them through the event. We also host, this is my plug for our summer camp. It's free. It's for all high schoolers. It's the Empowering Youth Leadership Institute. And this is a camp where youth can gain the skills for their own leadership, positive identity development, and also just have fun at the lake at Camp Paxson in Sealy Lake. We hang out in the cabins, go canoeing, but also really develop those interpersonal skills as well as skills to create collective liberation for all of us. We also, and that's at the end of July. So if you are curious, there are flyers out in the back. You may see them floating around, or if you want to email me, you're welcome to as well. We are also the state coordinator for the GSA network, which is a national network that helps deliver resources to start GSAs in schools, but also within the community. So if you're curious about starting one, whether you're a young person and want to be a youth advisor or an educator or staff member at a school, please reach out to us. We really want to keep those going as they're an amazing resource for our young people, especially right now. And on top of that, we offer professional development training. So that's for youth and educators in schools. We can offer professional development training to build those leadership skills, to know how to interrupt forms of discrimination, harassment that might be happening in schools for the young people. And it also is a way to give you the skills to respond in moments that you might be unsure. So we hope to provide that resource to the community as well. And next is, I had on my script a land acknowledgement, and to be very authentic, and anyone who does any critical self-reflection within themselves and the community, the discourse has been, it can be really performative, and I think that's real, and I want to name that. So while land acknowledgements can be meaningful, they represent just one step towards repair and reconciliation. So we do want to honor this land, the people that have come before us that are all still here as well, part of our community, but also know that there are action steps that need to be taken. And so what that can look like, allyship can look like genuine commitment that requires ongoing action, is up to the individual amongst the collective to educate and support learn the Indigenous histories and current challenges, actively support Indigenous-led organizations and initiatives in your community, and contribute to Indigenous advocacy efforts at a local, state, and national level. So we do have resources here today to stay engaged with. Take time after the event to check them out, and know that it's really about that action step. And next, I want to welcome our MCs for today, Patience and Drew.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, my name is Drew Eblin. I use he, him pronouns, and I am so thankful that I was invited to be your guys' MC, one of your MCs tonight. I'm a freshman at Sentinel, and I'm quite new to Empower Montana, but I went to their camp last year, and now I'm on their Youth Advisory Council, and I'm also the president of GSA at Sentinel. To me, creative resistance means hope. It means not giving up. This reminds us that we don't always have to be violent or loud to get the word out. It can be silent, poetic, and beautiful.
Hi there, I'm Patience Matt. I go by she, they pronouns. I'm so excited to be here with you amazing people for the celebration of art and resistance. I'm a senior at Sentinel, and I attend the Association for BIPOC Youth. I also went to Empower Montana camp last year, and to me, creative resistance is taking ugly and difficult circumstances and morphing and reinventing them into something stunning and powerful. Creative resistance is reclaiming strength and redefining pain.
Now I'm going to bring it back to Jess to tell us a little bit of the history of Diversity Day.
Yeah, give it up for our amazing MCs. They're going to keep the energy going through this event. I was about to MC and I thought, I'm not as cool, so let's get some cool young people up here. So if you'd like, you can read up here the history about Diversity Day, but if you aren't familiar, in April 12th, 2010, Empower Montana's youth launched the Diversity Day celebration as a response to the discrimination they were seeing in their community. They activated the community to put forward in policy, in writing, adding LGBTQ plus people as part of the non-discrimination ordinance that Missoula already had. It was missing before 2010, and now it is there, embedded in policy. So that was an amazing work through our youth programs. And we continue to honor those youth's hard work 15 years ago by celebrating this event annually. And it's youth-led, youth-engaged, youth-centered, and we will be hearing from different youth within our community about how they're inspired to continue the tradition of honoring and celebrating this day. So here are some photos. You can see it's taken many iterations. We had a parade, I believe, one year. Have done different art projects as part of this. Our diverse city logo was developed. We hope to keep the photo booth alive and well, so please take a picture afterwards if you get a chance. And next, we'll invite up some other Youth Advisory Council members to introduce the proclamation or read the proclamation. So I'll invite Mars and Evan up to the stage. Sorry. Patience and Drew can come back up. Yeah, we're going with the flow today.
All right. I think who's reading the proclamation is Lizzie, Liam, and Lily. So if they want to come up.
Whereas Missoula community members are confronted with prejudice and intolerance on a daily basis, this can often lead to bullying, mistreatment, violence, and suicide.
Missoula is one of the most diverse cities in Montana.
Missoula residents value diversity and equality, and we know our strength as a community is based on treating each other fairly and with respect, and ensuring safe, empowering, and inclusive communities.
Whereas diversity strengthens Missoula, it is celebrated and honored by our citizens, and it is evident in the thriving and colorful culture throughout our community.
Whereas appreciation of diversity among Missoula community members creates a climate of understanding and acceptance, which places the people of our city in the forefront of efforts to ensure that everyone has the right to live in conditions of peace, dignity, and mutual respect regardless of perceived race, color, national origin, ancestry, religion, creed, sex, age, marital or familial status, physical or mental disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression.
Now, therefore, I, John Engen, Mayor of the City of Missoula, in the state of Montana, do hereby proclaim April 12th, 2010 as Missoula Diversity Day, and encourage all citizens to actively participate in the activities encompassing Diversity Day to work together in ending prejudice, preventing violence, and strengthening our community.
Thank you to Lizzie, Liam, and Lily, some of the members of ZACC, which is Youth Advisory Council, for reading the proclamation. Now we are going to do a little introduction of Cecilia Spencer, which is this year's youth keynote speaker.
All right. Cecilia is a student at Hellgate High School. She's a descendant of the Ahani, Salish, and tribes on her mother's side, and the Cliticlat on her father's side. She is super lucky to have a big family that has inspired her to be involved in advocacy and politics. She's extremely grateful to be from this place and get to work with and learn from so many amazing people.
Hi, everybody. As I'm sure you guys heard, my name is Cecilia Spencer. I'm a student at Hellgate High School, and I'm super honored to be here. Thank you to Empower Montana for having me. Super fun. As someone who's still in high school, I've spent a lot of my life being a student and a lot of my life learning from some really amazing people. And I just would like to say thank you to all of them, too, because the reason that I'm here able to tell you some of the lessons I've learned is because of them. So thank you to everyone who's helped teach me. Now, as a student, I've gotten to learn from a lot of people, and a lot of those people have been really amazing. And a lot of the lessons that I've gotten to learn have not been easy. A lot of the growth periods that all of us have gone through have not been easy. I know that for a fact. And I also know that when we look around right now, we see that our country is kind of in a growth period. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. And obviously those periods can be really difficult, and the one we're in now is no exception. Freedoms are being taken, identity is being persecuted, creativity is also under attack in a lot of places. But when I look to the past and also when I look to the present, I think of lots of leaders that have inspired me and that continue to inspire me today. And a lot of those leaders have three qualities that I think are really important. They're able to be good leaders, number one. They're able to be good people, good individuals, and they're able to be good friends. And that's what we need to get through this time right now. We need to be good leaders, we need to be good people, and we all need to be good friends to each other. Now, the model of leadership that we're seeing right now, not super great, a little toxic, just would like to say. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know how you guys feel, though. Now, good leaders are able to adapt in tough situations. They're able to hear feedback and make changes. They're able to take criticism and turn it around into something better. They have humility. They are able to acknowledge that they don't know everything. They're able to listen to the people around them, hear their voices, and then make something better. Good leaders are able to take the gifts of the collective and make something stronger. They're able to acknowledge that our differences and the things that we all bring to the table are what ultimately make us so powerful. So as we move forward through this tough time, as we all work to resist all of the policies of hate and of discrimination that are coming down the pipe, I hope that we can all try to be good leaders. I hope that we can all listen to each other and take the time to find the beauty in the differences that we all have. So I implore you all to do that, to go forth and to be good leaders. Now, when I think of creative resistance, I always think of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Now, in a time when hate is constantly being broadcasted at us from many different places, from the news, from the people that are leading our country, I hope that we can all choose kindness, radical kindness, because in this time where fear of differences is tolerated and encouraged, where that fear is codified into laws that target some of the most vulnerable people in our communities, having radical kindness is resistance. Now, kindness shouldn't be radical, kindness should just be the norm, but unfortunately we're kind of living in a time where that's being questioned a little bit. Kindness needs to be applied in every situation. It's universal, it's something that is incredibly important. But most importantly, it needs to be applied when we interact with each other as a community. Now, that can look like reaching for curiosity instead of fear when you interact with someone new. That can look like building a community and a network of people that can hold you when things get hard. Because this fight and this time is going to get difficult. There are going to be periods that are uncomfortable. There are going to be periods where you feel unsafe and unsure. And by having people that can hold you and that can remind you of who you are is really important. So I hope that we can also go forth and build a community of people that love us and that support us, because that's how we're going to get through this. Now, kindness is not just important when we're interacting as a collective. It's also really important when we talk to ourselves, when we take time with ourselves. It looks like kindness to yourself looks like asking questions about the things that scare you. It looks like acknowledging when you're grieving, because all of us are grieving right now, whether you're grieving the changing climate, this loss of stability that we've experienced in the past year, or the loss of a sense of safety that some of us feel. And letting yourself feel those feelings and work through them, asking questions about where those feelings come from, and then listening to the answers and moving forward in a good way is really important. So I hope we can also all do that. Now, another part of having kindness for yourself is when you feel angry, because I'm sure that especially the young people in this room are going to feel a little angry about the things that are happening right now. Feeling that feeling and understanding that anger is powerful. It's a response to fear. It's a response to hurt a lot of times. Anger can be like a fever. It can cleanse a lot of things, and it can also clarify a lot of emotions. And in that cleansing, it can turn that fear into kinetic energy. I hope as we all move forward, we don't let our anger get stuck in our bodies. I hope that we turn that anger around and we turn it into action. Have kindness with yourself and understand that whatever action you choose to take is enough, even if it's on the smallest scale, or if it's coming here and being a part of this event. Whatever you do, it's enough and it's right. Now, another important part of creative resistance is that it's creative, so it's going to look different for all of us. What works for you might not work for me, but that's what's so amazing about it too, is that we're all different and we all bring different gifts and different amazing things. An analogy that my mom really loves is the soup analogy, so I hope you guys are all ready for this one. Buckle up. My mom always says that like an analogy that she uses, is when you go to make soup, you want to make sure that every ingredient is the best you can get. So whether that's the best potato, the best onion, I don't know what you guys put in your soup, but whatever you put in your soup, you want all of it to be the best. And when you have the best of all the individuals, the whole and the collective is so much better. And so I encourage everyone here to be the best potato or the best onion, whatever that looks like. Be the best individual so that when you come into the collective, you can bring your best gifts and you can bring your best self. So when we play to our strengths, ultimately, we're helping everybody. Now, our resistance starts on the smallest level. It starts with ourselves. It starts with each of us being able to acknowledge that we want to be a part of something, that we want to participate. It starts with all of us acknowledging our strengths and what we do best. Resistance is a lot like, I think, of a rainstorm. One raindrop isn't going to do too much, but once enough of them get going, once thousands of raindrops come together, that can change the world. That can change the geographical makeup of things. It can make rivers rush. It has so much energy. So I hope that we can all join the storm in our own way, whatever that looks like. Now, water speaking of water, speaking of rain, water can actually teach us a lot of lessons about this time. Water holds a lot of complexities and dualities. Water can be really soft, right? It hydrates us. It's what makes this planet so amazing. It's what helps all of us survive. But it can also be incredibly fierce. I don't know if you guys have ever seen ocean waves and how they crash onto the shore with like so much ferocity. But water is able to hold all of those dualities, and I hope that we can all hold them as well. Be kind with the people that you love. Be soft with them. Be kind with yourself. Have softness. But when it comes to hate and people who are trying to hurt you, have the ferocity of ocean waves. Have that persistence. Don't stop, no matter when things get hard. Be as unrelenting as the ocean, if you will. Now, in the face of hate, persistence and resistance are kind of the same thing. The ability to keep going even when things get hard is what is going to, I think, propel us forward into the next movement of freedom and of justice. So I hope that everybody looks around and sees that this community is here for you and that persistence is what is going to get us through this. Now, let us create a rhythm in ourselves and with each other. I hope that everybody can put their hand over their heart. If you'll humor me, this is interactive now, everybody. You didn't sign up for it, but it's what you're getting. And everyone can feel their heartbeat. Now that's a rhythm that will beat your entire life, I hope. If it doesn't, then something's up. But that rhythm, let us align that rhythm with each other and let us align that beat with justice. Let us create a pulse that is so powerful and so aligned with love that no one can deny it. Once it's loud enough, once enough of us are on that frequency, it's pretty hard to ignore. Let us, once again, create a heartbeat of justice that ripples throughout all of our country. Let our bones be fortified with community. Let our bones be fortified with the strength of each other. Let our blood move through our body and carry strength through every bit of us. Now, let us also find inspiration in the world around us. Let us take that heartbeat and go out into the world and find things that remind us why we need to keep fighting. That's the most important part, I think, of creative resistance, is being able to remember what your inspiration is, being able to remember what keeps you going in the times that get tough. Whatever that looks like, if it's going outside and seeing the land, seeing the beauty of the outdoors, of the water, there's a lot of that in Missoula. If that's spending time with the people you love and remembering that you love them and that they're wonderful, whatever that looks like. As the Buddha says, when there is anger, offer loving kindness. Where there is selfishness, offer generosity. Where there is deceit, offer the truth. Now, I encourage everyone who's here to go out and find your truth, find your inspiration, find the thing that keeps you going. Know yourself so deeply, know your truth so deeply that when hate comes knocking at your door, you can look it in the eyes and say, you cannot shake me because I know who I am. I encourage everyone to stand in their power and stand in their truth. Thank you.
I'm on the wrong page. Hold on, guys. Thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
very
amazing.
powerful.
You're my best onion.
Oh, thank you. I try.
All right. Next, we would like to thank all the sponsors and community partners who join us in elevating youth voices.
Thank you. We could not have put this event together without your generosity. Be sure to support these businesses and organizations because they support diversity, youth leadership, and community.
Thank you to Native American Center for Excellence, the Good Food Store, the Book Exchange, Ace Hardware, Blackfoot Communication, and the UCC Church. Let's give a round of applause to thank these fabulous sponsors and community partners.
We are so grateful for the many local businesses contributing to this annual event. While our generous sponsors have provided significant support, additional donations are always welcome to support specific elements of our programming, such as honorariums for our speakers and awards for our Youth Lead Now awardees.
If you're interested in contributing to this event, you can easily donate through the QR code on your table. Your attendance and attention today are already meaningful gifts to our community, and we sincerely thank you for helping Missoula commemorate this important event.
Next, I'm going to invite, Evan and Mars to talk to us about the Youth Lead Now awards.
Hello, my name is Evan. Does this microphone work?
We're doubling up today. All right.
Okay. The power of youth leadership is essential in creating positive change. Throughout the past 20 plus years of Empower Montana, we have seen young leaders transforming their schools and communities, including the creation of Diversity Day. This past year has been full of powerful youth-led action that deserves to be celebrated. We are inspired to honor these youth leaders at Diversity Day with the 2025 Youth Lead Now Awards. Our Youth Advisory Council has chosen 4 youth leaders who have made huge impacts this year. We are so moved by our awardees' hard work, who created ripples of change without expectation or recognition or awards. We also want to recognize all the youth leaders making big strides to create a more safe and inclusive future across Montana. Stay tuned for next spring so you can nominate a youth leader for the 2026 Youth Lead Now Awards.
Awesome. Thanks, Evan. And I'll just introduce myself really quick. My name is Mars. I use they, them pronouns, and I am one of the members of our beautiful Youth Advisory Council at Empower Montana. So I'll go into our first award winner. So our first award winner is Tantine Rusakiza. Tantine is from Burundi and goes to Hellgate High School. Her favorite hobbies are to make people laugh, hanging out with her cousins and friends, and serving. As a Congolese refugee, she overcame many barriers, and despite this, she remains focused on her education, excelling in advanced chemistry and physics, and as she works toward her dream of becoming a labor and delivery nurse. Beyond academics, Tantine is a natural leader and role model. She plays a key role in the Refugee Girls Leadership Council, always stepping up to support and mentor younger students. Her resilience, kindness, and determination make her an inspiration to everyone around her. She leads by example, proving that hard work and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. She is proud to be part of the Soft Landing Missoula Girls Leadership Council, where together, she says, they are all family and grow as one. Her heart is full of love for the girls, and they're more than friends to her. So let's give a round of applause to Tantine.
Our next awardee is Naomi Fisher. Naomi is an enrolled member of the Confederated Salish Kootenai Tribes. She is 15 years old and goes to school at Arlee High School. Naomi was nominated for regularly attending Indian Education Committee meetings, as well as her involvement and leadership in the Arlee Indigenous Student Association and the club Sources and Strengths, an organization whose goal is to empower other students and promote help-seeking behaviors. Naomi has achieved placing in the top 10 percentile at the MCTM, a math competition, and places at multiple art competitions. She provides a strong student perspective regarding what changes need to happen and to make the Arlee School District better at meeting the needs of all students. Naomi celebrates her creative resistance by serving her community. For 10 years, and also how she began her community service, Naomi volunteered to set up and break down funerals at the Arlee Community Center. She also enjoys sewing, ribbon skirts, and teaching. Head Start parents know how to sew for their annual powwow. Lastly, Naomi enjoys clearing and cleaning trails in the Bob Marshall Wilderness, completing 70-plus hours of community service and receiving her OSHA certification. Please give a round of applause for Naomi Fisher. Oh, yes. Yes. Naomi? Thank you.
All right, our next awardee is Charles Snellman. Charles is a senior at Capitol High School in Helena, Montana, and a passionate advocate for student empowerment, health equity, and community leadership. He is a president and founder of the Helena Health Science Advisory Board, president of SHS National Honor Society, a Montana HOSA vice president and president of growth development, and student representative on the Helena School Board of Trustees, where he helps shape policy decisions for over 5,000 students in the Helena Public Schools. Charlie was nominated for his work as a legislative intern and junior lobbyist at Treasure State Strategies, supporting policy efforts in healthcare, education, and conservation. He is a 2025 U.S. Senate Youth Programs Delegate, Youth of the Year for the Helena Exchange Club, and a multi-medalist at State Science Olympiad and HOSA conferences. He's also been recognized as an accomplished cellist. Charles is a two-time first prize winner of the MASO Young Artist Competition and has served as principal cellist of the Montana All-State Orchestra for 3 years, performing across Montana and the Pacific Northwest. He is the founder of Snellman Music Studio, where he teaches lessons to a full studio of cello and violin students ranging in age from 9 to 40. He's been named a Helena Education Foundation Distinguished Scholar. Charlie plans to pursue a double degree in cello performance and molecular biology at the Peabody Conservatory and Johns Hopkins University, respectively. Ultimately, he aims to become a rural physician and change maker in public health and education policy. Whether advocating at the Capitol, teaching swim lessons, organizing community events, or performing in nursing homes, Charles leads with purpose, compassion, and a drive to lift others as he climbs. And now I would love to welcome Charles on stage to share more about how he uses creative resistance in his leadership.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Can we give another round of applause for that excellent keynote earlier? I just love that speech. When I found out I would be receiving one of these Youth Lead Now awards, I was already humbled. But then someone asked me if I'd like to speak on the topic of creative resistance, and I said, ooh, yeah. Sign me up for that. Because if there's one thing that I've learned in my leadership journey so far, it's that leadership, especially as a young person, is nothing if not creatively resistant. To me, creative resistance means doing more than just pointing out what's broken. It means imagining and building what could be better. It's not just pushing back, it's pushing forward. When I couldn't take the science classes that I wanted to in high school because not enough students signed up during our school district's $3 million budget shortfall, I didn't get frustrated. I like to tell myself I didn't get frustrated, but I got to work. I helped build an advisory board to make sure that students wouldn't be denied access to opportunity in the future. And when all these decisions were being made without student voice at the table, I applied for a seat on the school board, and I showed up week after week to represent the thousands of stories that go unheard in Helena Public Schools. So what I'm saying, thank you, is that sometimes resistance is loud, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it looks like writing policy, walking down the halls of the Capitol, talking to your lawmakers, but sometimes it's as simple as reading a book, playing some music, or something like that. But always, resistance is creative because it requires vision, heart, and courage to do things differently. And it requires you to think outside of the box and innovate. So to anyone out there feeling like the system wasn't built for them, you're probably right. But that doesn't mean that you can't build something better. Creative resistance reminds us that the best way to respond to injustice isn't always protest. It's possibility. It's taking the barrier and creating a blueprint. this isn't working, instead of asking this isn't working, we ask, so what will we create instead? And maybe most importantly, creative resistance is contagious. It certainly feels contagious today in this wonderful room. It invites others in. It says, you matter. Your voice belongs here. Let's build this together. In that vein, thank you for honoring not just what I've done, but how I've chosen to do it. And let's keep resisting the status quo. Let's keep creating, but most importantly, keep your resistance creative.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next awardee is Stephen Klemkowitz. Stephen is a 7th grader at St. Joseph's School in Missoula. He loves studying history and geography and participating in history and geography bees and bowls. He follows current events around the world closely and likes to learn about them from a wide variety of news sources to make sure he considers various perspectives before forming an opinion. He loves volunteering and cooking. Stephen was nominated for being a vibrant, engaged, and inspiring youth leader who consistently shows up for his community. He shows up every day in small but meaningful ways, like picking up trash during long walks with his dog. Whether he's organizing the St. Joseph food drive or volunteering 10 hours a week as a junior docent at Fort Missoula, Stephen takes initiative with enthusiasm and heart. Would you like to come up and receive your award, please?
Yeah. Oh man, this is loud. I want to talk to you about creative resistance, and specifically creatively resisting echo chambers. An echo chamber is a situation in which you only hear opinions of one type or opinions that agree with your own. And, this can often hinder the truth. The way I creatively resist echo chambers is by checking multiple news sources. If there's a topic that interests me, normally one from the far left, one from the far right, and somewhere around the center, you'll find the truth. Or the closest thing to it. But why in the world is this important? Because in this modern world that is so often polarizing, it's easy to demonize people who you don't agree with. But what we have to all understand is that we can't just be yelling our own ideas in a cave and hearing them bounce back into our ear. We need to exit the cave, or proverbial cave, and truly talk to others with different opinions, and you'll be able to become more interesting and be able to have a better experience with finding the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.
All right, gotta get on the next page. Yes, thank you all for sharing. I appreciate it. All right, our final award winner, I'm really excited to announce this person, Nina Rode. Nina is an 8th grader at Sussex School in Missoula, is an avid reader and writer, and cares deeply about justice and inclusion, as we get to see all the time. However, she draws the line at including ice cream on pie. Yes, tell them. Nina exemplifies exceptional youth leadership through her inspiring initiative to create a diverse book library at EmpowerMT at our office. However, I already read that. Love, okay. However, her leadership goes beyond simple project completion. She demonstrates a commitment to creating positive change, amplifying marginalized voices, and supporting community inclusivity. As a longtime BU crew member, Nina proves that young leaders can drive meaningful social transformation through thoughtful, intentional action. And I am so proud of Nina for creating our diverse book library. So she made a fundraiser at Sussex School to raise money to purchase intersectional books. And we are so appreciative of that because as Empower Montana, we really strongly believe that it's incredibly important for media to be representative of a diverse group of stories, and it's super important that they're intersectional because we know that we're not just like one thing. We're this like big mural of things. So Nina found a bunch of really awesome books. Some of them are displayed on the table over here if you want to check them out after. And there's also a fun little wagon if you happen to bring a book to donate to the Empower Montana Diverse Book Library. And with that, I would like to invite Nina up here to talk a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm an 8th grader at Sussex School, like was said. I'm sorry about my pie opinion. That was a weird thing to say, but at Sussex, the 8th graders do a project called the 8th Grade Defense every year. It's like a huge project. Each student must create a self-guided project over a few months that not only explores their interests, but also benefits the community. I chose to create this inclusive and intersectional mini library for Empower Montana because as a member of the LGBTQ+ community, I think it's really important that people in minorities, especially teens, have access to representation in literature. A good book can make you feel a lot of things, and I want people to feel seen. That's important to me. I love books because it brings me so much joy to be able to experience new worlds and bond with characters, especially ones I can see myself in. Thank you so much to Empower Montana and everybody here, and yeah.
Thank you.
I'll pass it back over to our MCs. Let's do one more round of applause for all of our winners.
Oh my gosh, can we get another round of applause? Sorry guys, that was so good. I'm so proud. Okay, thank you to all who nominated our youth. For the final hour of our event, we are uplifting youth voices by showcasing Empower Montana's community clubs action projects. Additionally, if you feel inspired by these groups and know a young person who wants to get involved, please visit our resource table in the back with the flyers and more information.
We're going to start with Abby. Abby stands for the Association for Black, Indigenous, and Youth of Color and is open to middle and high school aged youth. This group was co-founded by Lizzie Mills Lowe and Sylvie Tower. Empower Montana recognizes that being a student of color in predominantly white schools is a very isolating experience, and therefore wants to create a space where Black, Indigenous, youth of color have the opportunity to connect. This group allows students of color to feel supported in their racial identity, learn a more racially diverse and inclusive history, and take action against mistreatment and discrimination. We now want to welcome Lizzie and Sylvie to the stage.
Thank you all for being here today. Before we show our action project, I just want to give a little blurb about what Abby is and what it means to Lizzie and I. We both grew up in Montana. As you know, less than 1% of the population is Black and less than 15% is Indigenous. And therefore, we grew up in schools with teachers that didn't look like us and students who didn't look like us, experiencing all sorts of harassment and discrimination. And with Empower Montana, we wanted to start this group, Association of BIPOC Youth, as a way to bring students of color together and experience support and community, and hopefully feel like they have a safe space to talk about their experiences and feel empowered.
Sylvie, can you tell me a little bit about who you are?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My name's Sylvie Tower. I am a biochemistry major at the University of Montana, and I got involved with Empower Montana about 7 years ago in their group, Empowering People, Inspiring Change. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you. I'm Lizzie Millslow. I'm studying journalism at the University of Montana right now. I am one of the co-founders of Abby, and I'm on the Youth Advisory Council. I got involved with Empower about 6 years ago through the Youth Leadership Summer Camp. So the Association of BIPOC Youth chose to make a short film as our action project this year, and we really wanted to encompass the stories of youth in Missoula, to tell this story in a creative fashion, and to be a letter to the school board, the administration, everyone who's in power, and also our community at large, to understand the experiences of youth of color and be inspired to take action to support youth of color. So, thank you. And great job to all of the students who were involved, all of our participants. We're so proud.
When people are unthoughtful about race and I try to correct them, but they ignore me, I feel unsure of myself.
When my problems were brushed off by teachers and school administration, I felt unseen, unheard, and unwelcomed.
When a student experiences discrimination and harassment, more often than not, they experience denial and blaming, and this brings on a lot of confusion.
I don't like it when people bring up a new deportation policy and constantly remind me that my family won't be able to visit me anymore.
I don't like it when I'm told I'm being dramatic every time I'm upset because people say racist and inappropriate things to me.
I don't like it when my classmates are unaware and unwilling to learn about people whose experience is different than theirs.
I don't like it when I experience harassment, racial harassment, or otherwise, and I'm basically blamed for what happened and told that I'm the reason I'm being harassed. It ended up bringing on a lot of guilt and shame, and I was the one at fault.
I remember the day right after the U.S. president election. I walked into my homeroom and the first thing a kid told me was that Trump had won. I remember responding with "I know," and the kid replying back with, "So what are you gonna do when your family gets deported?" I was speechless, and that was just one of my experiences.
It's not funny nor cool to say racist jokes. The ones you hurt, the ones you tell those racist jokes to, will never forget what you say. Words are powerful. When you use them to hurt or make fun of people, it sticks with them through their whole life. No matter how much you apologize or tell the kid who said a racial slur to say sorry in a pathetic way, we will always remember who hurt us.
You should care because being one of few people of color is hard, but it is especially difficult sticking up for yourself when no one can relate to your experiences.
You should care because students deserve to feel safe and supported by teachers and administration.
You should care because school can shape us maybe even more than family, so it's vital to create a respectful environment.
You should care because only in a safe school environment can students successfully learn.
During my junior year, we had a senior assembly that happens every year. And during that senior assembly, there was a land acknowledgement and an honor song. During the land acknowledgement, the teacher giving the land acknowledgement meant well, but she pronounced a couple of tribal names incorrectly. And then during the honor song, there's a lot of kids that I saw making fun of, mocking, and just poking fun at the honor song and the singers. And that's a very sacred thing in Indigenous culture. It was really disheartening to see the level of disrespect happening and how it was just kind of normal. So I reached out to my principal about how I just wanted to have a conversation on how to make Sentinel a more accepting and helpful space for Indigenous students. We had a conversation, and during that conversation I suggested Indigenous words of the day in the daily announcements, and she loved the idea. And so I now, as a senior, I run that. It's really important for schools to have things like that. It creates an air of familiarity with cultures that a lot of kids might not understand. And that gets rid of foreignness, therefore there's less to make fun of. And I think it's important I think all the high schools and middle schools should do that.
Students who are perpetrating this harassment on other students need to be held accountable. A verbal slap on the wrist or silence does not make that issue go away. Teachers and administrators should stand up for students.
You should care.
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 Thank you, Abby. That was a very great video. The final two presentations from community clubs will be from the Youth Forward and BU crew. The mission of these groups is to provide a safe and supportive space for LGBTQ+ and two-spirited youth to connect with peers, discuss issues relevant to their lives, explore identity, and learn more about the ever-expanding LGBTQ+ and LGBTQ+, two-spirit, and gender diverse community, and how other identities intersect. Let me flip the page. This space and the connections made within these groups are intended to empower and support queer youth leadership. Please welcome Evan and Emma to the stage.
Hello again. Like I was introduced, my name is Evan, and I work with Empower Montana as a Youth Advisory Council member and the facilitator of Youth Forward. Youth Forward is really important because, in a lot of ways, similar to Abby, being a queer student in Montana can feel very isolating. It's an identity that is often hidden by people in order to preserve their safety. And a group like Youth Forward is really important because it provides these youth an opportunity to just be their authentic selves and not have to worry about being discriminated against or facing any harassment. And it's also just really fun to kind of have a space where you can just be just a kid instead of just being a queer kid.
Absolutely. I'm Emma. I'm a social work practicum student with Empower Montana. Just didn't want to bring it up. Our action project that we helped facilitate, this is the Youth Forward quilt. Do you want to explain more on that, Evan?
Yeah, so we were inspired, our group was inspired by the AIDS quilt of the 80s and how that was a creative medium used for expressing stories and hardships and as a memorial for a lot of the queer people who were victims of the AIDS epidemic and who could not receive proper funerals. And so we wanted to kind of make one of our own, expressing stories of queerness in Montana and just highlighting some important people and stories that accompany that experience. Oh yeah, and this and another one of our action projects will be available in this back corner for you to peruse at your leisure after the event.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for that incredible presentation. Next, we'll welcome Mars and Kaylee up to the stage.
Hello. I guess it's Kaylee is over here. She's our amazing practicum student that co-facilitates Youth Forward. I'm Mars again. I introduced myself earlier. So BU Crew, as mentioned, is a space for LGBTQ young people in elementary and middle school to have a space to be 100% themselves. We like to do art a lot, as you see over here. Have conversations about schools. No, you're good. You're right where you're supposed to be. And our action project that they came up with is a beautiful abstract painting of identity. Yeah, do you both want to share or just Lou? Okay, this is Lou.
Hi, I'm Lou. I use he, him pronouns. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have a gray background, some white mountains, and a rainbow. And what is this? Okay. I did a gray background because sometimes your gender identity or how do I explain this? Okay. Sometimes it can be hard for you to be yourself, but sometimes there can be a rainbow around every corner.
Hi, I'm Wilder. I use they, them pronouns, and we did a thing together, but then I'm the only person here that worked on it, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so Will did, we all did portraits of ourselves and the way we want to express ourselves and stuff. And Will did this, and I think it's awesome. And then I forgot this person's name. Davey, right. Did this, and yeah, Cedar did this just abstract thing with the trans flag. And I did this, which is currently upside down. But yeah, it's just me, and I'm just surrounded by the love of my family and friends and stuff. And I also did this river of love and stuff. Yeah.
And I did my own because I'm scared if I ruined it.
You did an amazing job. All right. Woo. Yes. Either way, whatever works. Okay, let's give another round of applause.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oh my goodness.
Okay, also, there's a rainbow around every corner. That is so true.
Uh-huh.
That's how I live my life. That's how I think about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We are honored to be here with you all tonight. We invite you to let the momentum and energy from today drive you into a continued action. We have a few action items listed on the slide, and in the spirit of creative resistance, we ask you to continue to explore all the many more possibilities of staying engaged. Empower Montana amplifies youth empowerment and leadership through the year, and so can you. As Diversity Day donor, you can support this year's community celebration and the many free youth programs that we are offered throughout the year. Your gift is tax deductible and, as always, is empowering youth and leadership across Montana.
A special thank you to the youth of Empower Montana who worked hard and made this event possible. Thank you to let me restart. Thank you all for supporting Empower Montana and the diverse programs we have to help create a more just and inclusive Montana. Can we get a round of applause for Empower Montana? We invite you all to connect with each other and explore the resource tables in the back. Thank you again all for joining us today and making sure to keep make sure to keep showing up and empowering each other. Also, can we give a big round of applause for Jess? Because
We love you, Jess.
We love Jess. Okay, thank you all for coming.